He can't do anything.
Say what?
I'm doing okay, how are you doing, Terry?
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I was just there yesterday. Yeah, so today's good. So, yep, just there. Folks are Friday.
How are you?
Yep. I have to go back to September now, so.
Where we're sitting now.
Everything going okay, Rach?
I am.
We do cover a lot of ground. Okay.
Great job.
There was something about your house. It's like, you're figuring out.
We,
There was something off, like you were tearing up the bed or their environment.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there, I mean, I just noticed something when it's coming up 32.
I did cut the head down on my phone there.
Yeah, that could have been it. I just looked at it and I thought, I mean, I remember thinking to myself, there's something like right there. That's what I'm getting at. So,
Also say not right.
well, when I say not right, I meant different.
Yeah.
Not as in, it's not as in, it's not okay. It's like, there's something like. Yeah. Because the first thing that hit me was like,
Yes.
three, I remember taking it. Yeah. No, something else we never.
Me.
Well, I think it's cool.
I thought I was gonna be less busy when I only had one kid at home, but that's just not panning out. So, yeah. So she, yeah. Running over. All the time, running over. Well, that's the thing, like, the 3 older ones that are right, they're not running. It's just a really young one still around the house. And like, one of them, like, right now, I got home from Chicago, literally, at 8 o'clock last night, picked up my 15-year-old from band practice, like she's in March Street. I picked her up from band practice, drove down to Greenfield, spent the night at my son's house in Greenfield, my son's house in Greenfield, because he and his wife are on vacation, so I'll sit in office for them.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I feel like that.
so we're gonna go eat.
Kind of wobbling sometimes.
Cheerleading practice, because she's also a cheerleader, so she has cheerleading practice tonight. And then I'm gonna go right back down
A
to
couple of them that look like they're probably gonna fall off.
and then go every time.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just run.
John, you ready? Amy, you ready?
Take care of it.
Here's a step.
There you go. Paper, Amy.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You never have you?
Uh,
So it starts from here.
no, but I am today.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Good to go? Okay.
Usually got some.
All right. We will open up the Town of Delville public hearing on sanitation rates.
Right here.
Thank you. This is ordinance 2025-02, an ordinance amending rates and charges for the trash pickup for the residents in the town of Delville. John, do you want to summarize this one? Or you-
I don't have a.
I got it. Okay, no, this is, the town of Delville's in there, 3 years, and we're looking to increase,
It's increasing from $15.50 to.
$15.50, $1.50, thank you, $1.50, per month, to $17 per month for the trash collection. We had an increase, we've always discussed it. There it is. Year 1, 1524, 1648.
So we'll be covered.
Will be covered for the next 3 years, right, correct, 36 months. At this rate, will cover us, because at the end of it, we'll be at 1648. So this covers everything going in through there.
Hopefully
So
covers-
this is a public hearing. Is there anybody that would like to speak against or for this at this time?
For questions.
Or questions, Jeff?
We are running very marginal amount of that.
Well, the other thing is it also covers, the 2 days that we do, in the spring and the fall, where we
Town
get the,
cleanup.
the town cleanup as well. So
And-
that's what we,
And recycling.
and recycling, yes. So it's very minimal.
Any other comments? Comments from the audience? Or against? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
First and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is closed. That goes up. Amy, we'll need this back in this because we gotta adopt this tonight, don't we? So this goes back on the other side. All right, now, we'll call town board meeting. Delville, together, if y'all stand, someone come do occasion, then we'll do the pledge of allegiance.
Dear Father, we just thank you for this weather, Lord, and just continue to keep the kids safe during the summer and guide this board tonight during this meeting. Special prayers, Lord, for the Scott family. We lost a member of the board a couple weeks ago, Joe Scott, and we just want to honor him tonight and thank you for his many blessings he gave the town with his leadership and just his the way he ran around the town and did things. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amy, if you want to do roll call, please.
Bill Walter.
Here.
Randy Hurley is here. Tom Roberts. Adam Jones.
No, sir.
Steve Rhodes.
Yeah.
Approval, first item is approval of May council minute meetings. You all got sent a copy of that.
Make a motion that we approve the May minutes.
I'll second.
Hang on here a second. I got 3 different sets of minutes here. So let's go in order here on the minutes. I apologize. Let's
We
go.
already got a second on May.
Oh, well, I've got May 3rd.
Yeah, May 13th, you got April, and you've got
We didn't
the
have-
special public meeting.
We didn't have a quorum last month to approve the.
April, so there it is. Okay, so we've got a first and a second on the May 13th meeting, correct?
Yep.
All right, any discussions, changes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed,
Stephen.
Okay.
abstain? All right, there's May. Next, we have the April 8th, 2025 meeting. We didn't have a quorum, is that correct?
Randy and I were
Let's hear it.
We had a quorum
No, we didn't have in May.
In May, we
the
didn't have a
appropriate
quorum.
people here.
Right.
because
Yes.
So I'll make a motion to pass the approval.
April.
I'll make that.
Got first,
Steve. I can't, you were here.
it was Tom, Steve.
And April.
and-
Oh, that's okay.
I'll second it, so we got
Yeah, it was a half.
first and a second, so that's 3.
Yeah.
Okay, any changes, additions? All in favor say aye. Aye, opposed,
Staying.
and 2 abstains? Approved. And then we have the public hearing on the PER for the water project, May 21st, 6:30. I was the only one absent, so I
I'll
would
make a
entertain a
motion to
motion.
approve.
I've got a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 1 abstain. And Adam, this goes to you for signature. I wasn't here. Going over that, we go past, let's go to.
So we just pass along.
You got the claim docket, you got the revenue detail
That's
history.
No bank records.
Okay, no bank records, right? All right, so go that way. While they're looking over those details, Randy, you want to go into sanitation?
Yes. So we will be bringing up the ordinance tonight. I don't know if you want to go ahead and do that.
Sure, we can go to that. Remember, we just had the hearing on ordinance 2025, raising the rate set from $15.50, $1.50 to $17 per month, contract for the next 3 years with Bestway. I would entertain a motion to introduce.
Are we going to pass it all tonight?
It's totally up to you guys. I'll go into the second one after we get the introduction, if you want to go ahead.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance 2025-02 regarding sanitation, increase in sanitation rates from $15.50 to $17, I think.
Correct. I have a first, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a first and a second. Any discussion? Amy, I guess we're gonna go roll call with all three of these.
Oh, we're doing the whole,
We're gonna try, yes.
okay, Steve Brogan,
Oh, you're gonna go, okay, yes. I'm sorry.
Adam Jones.
Yes.
Just looking at something else.
Randy Hurley,
Yes.
Tom Roberts,
Yes.
Bill Walters.
Yes, I would entertain a motion this time to suspend the rules. Remember, this has to be unanimous, or we go to next month's meeting.
I make a motion, we suspend the rules.
Second.
I have a first and second. Amy, if you call the roll, please.
Steve Brogan,
Yes.
Adam Jones,
Yes.
Tom Roberts.
Yep.
Randy Hurley,
Yes.
Bill Walters.
Yes. I would entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-02.
I make a motion to adopt ordinance 2502.
Second.
First and second, any discussion?
Question, when will the rates take effect? Is it immediately, as in next month?
Passed, let's see, the ordinance will be in full force effective upon adoption and of all provisions of chapter 50. As soon as the ordinance passes, it'll start the
Now,
next month.
we can change those rates ourselves. We do not need to go through Keystone, so it can be done very quickly.
As soon as adoption, it goes into the next billing cycle. Okay, any other questions? Roll call.
Steve Brogan,
Yes.
Tom Roberts.
Yeah.
Adam Jones,
Yes.
Randy Hurley,
Yes.
Bill Walters.
Yes.
Okay, other than that, on sanitation, I mean, I think the recycling's going fine. I've heard a lot of positive feedback on it, that everybody's thankful that we have it available year round, so.
We did have an issue. We had gone 3 times a week, but they dumped the recycling then, and a truck broke down, and he didn't get it dumped one day, and it was jammed.
Me and you.
So, probably impacted me or Terry.
And
Okay,
that's
no.
it for sanitation.
That's it for sanitation? I'm sorry.
Did we all sign this one? Or is it?
I think,
we have 2 lines?
Yes. I have no idea.
that's it.
It should probably show up, is that, that's the best way contract?
Yeah.
That would be,
That's you.
That's just you.
So, and we can time them all.
okay,
Denials or-
before we go to water, I apologize, I skipped one, let's go back to the top, I forgot the claim docket out of the revenue, I passed the revenues back, it's already been around, but we've got the claim docket, did everybody get a chance to look at it?
Yes.
Make a motion to pass the, approved claim docket for the amount.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'll give it to you,
Yeah.
$201,442.40.
442.
$2,001, $442.40. I have a first, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a first and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Docket approved. All right, let's go back. No, you want to jump up, you want to do the regional wastewater
Yeah,
district?
real quick. It was really a short list, just general stuff. I really don't want to spend much time on it. But I do appreciate him continuing to send out the report. It was just basically 811 reports and things like that.
There was something in that report that was a little bit different, something they were replace something.
We're replacing some pumps and we just,
Oh, yeah.
we replaced 2 pumps in lift stations and we're putting in 2 new meters we just got quotes on. And as far, that's the only big expenditures we
Yeah.
have. It doesn't affect, there's no rate changes or anything coming forward. Everything right now is good. We're in contract negotiations with MSD on flow rate, still working on that. It's positive, it's back and forth, we're really close. We should finish up here soon.
But that won't affect Delta.
No, that won't affect Delma. That won't affect Delma. All right, you want to go into water?
Anything, Brad, from water? I got a couple things from the water meeting, special water meeting we had, a couple of PDRs we need to sign. One is this, the signature thing, authorizing who will sign.
We're gonna do electric fan.
So, Bill, I assume there'll be, you were at them.
Yeah, because this is for the SRF,
Yeah.
this is what we've already approved.
Yeah.
Just signatory,
So, are you okay with being a signatory?
Yeah.
Okay, so I make a motion that you're a signatory for the SRF loan program.
yes, give me a second.
Okay.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
And then I have another one here. It's just, it's acceptance resolution. Just says Daleville, town of Daleville has caused a PER, which is a preliminary engineering report, to be completed, and by Commonwealth Engineers. And it's been presented to public. That was held, whatever it was held, a couple weeks ago. And town council recommends the project, the PR. Well, whereas the town council finds that there was not sufficient evidence presented in the objections to the recommended project. Now therefore be resolved that the water system improvement project dated March 25 be approved and adopted by town council. This does not tie us to the project. It just allows us to go forward with potential funding.
Sorry. Right, this is, we haven't
It's just a
even,
formality.
we haven't even been given the grant or what we are being awarded, if anything yet.
So I'll make a motion to approve this.
So what is that document called
The
again?
PER acceptance resolution
Preliminary engineering
report, yes, for the project. I have a first, do I have a second?
Second.
First and second, any discussion?
And
See,
so this is just for them to go forward and trying to get funding.
acceptance of the resolution, we're approving, the PER they did, we're approving what they submitted to SRF and moving forward. We have to get these documents so that they know that we're behind the project yet, so that they can make us an offer.
Gotcha.
We haven't been made an offer as of yet. First, second, any discussion, other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. One or two? Two. Okay, that takes, anything else on water?
Anything else on water, Brad?
This time? No? Okay, streets.
Streets, I know we started the school project over here on Bronco Drive. All the trees are gone.
Not all, I got 3 more to take out.
Okay. And the sign is,
Sign is in a big pile. I gotta haul it away tomorrow.
anything else with streets?
I know the gas company's tearing my streets all up.
They sure
They're gonna be here all summer.
Yeah. Gas companies coming down 32, everybody had to notice that.
I turned on Sarah, went all the way around, came through the park, and the guy that I was behind was just, Sager's house, like, whoo, took the right road on that one.
They're gonna be all over town. They're going, the farthest, I got locates up to Walnut and Fifth Street.
Okay.
They're gonna be all over town.
All right, planning and zoning.
Okay, there is a couple different ordinances that, we've discussed in the past, John, that we just need to see where they are. One of them is the private property lighting ordinance. I think we talked about this, I don't know, a few months ago. So we just needed to see where that stands and if something's been drafted or if we need to relook at it.
I started drafting it, but I'm needing some particulars on, what are the parameters for lighting, how is, what are you, how are you gonna measure that? What sort of, requirements do you want in it? I mean, I've got to start, I'm just looking for some guidance from the board as to, what do you want, what are you trying to protect and how are you gonna measure it and how are you gonna determine what is a violation, what isn't a violation? Are you talking about candle feet? Are you talking about all these kind of things? So I've got a basic draft was set for the parameters.
Okay,
And this is gonna be complicated, because we can go in a million directions. I'm just, from what I said, Amy, can you put that on the listserv, and can we get some ideas, maybe to pass out to board members, so we can look at it for next month?
I mean, what is the goal for this ordinance?
We had one put up that was so bright, it was just, but what, I'm not an electrician, I don't know what a normal brightness would be for someone that doesn't affect somebody in the neighbor's house while they're sleeping at night, when they put one in the backyard. You know what I mean? Where are the lines been drawn at, and what is respectful from one neighbor to another neighbor?
Is there anything you might see?
Can we do something like we did with the sound ordinance, where you took objectivity out of it and we just had it based off of a decibel?
The brightness.
Yeah, so,
You want to keep it objective, not subjective.
yes, you want to.
yeah, subject, excuse me,
What he said,
the way he said it.
Get objectivity out of it, then that'll just make my job a whole lot tougher.
You'll get paid a lot too.
That.
Yes. So we could do that with.
Well, and I understand that, and that's all good, but how are we gonna measure it and,
It's like light meter. There's
No one-
light meters.
There are light meters, yeah.
Yeah, so we just do that.
So what are the limits?
Well, so John found, I think it was Avon that we modeled our noise ordinance off of. And so if we can find a city that's done one like that, based off of a light meter and lumens in the
I can
neighborhood.
put it out on
Can you ask that
listserv.
for luminous on your list, on the
I
list,
can put it out
see
on
which one's
listserv and
that?
say, hey,
Well,
who has
because
lighting ordinances
anyone
for
that's doing it with
residential
luminous
areas?
is doing it with your gun and shooting them so they can get the brightness off of it. Harry Potter.
Lumos.
You guys spend way too much time in Florida.
Lumos.
Okay,
All right,
moving on.
well, I'm not done.
I know, moving on, that past the light ordinance. Next.
So the next one is the proposed ordinance, I think we gave you last meeting or the meeting before on parking in residential areas. I think we gave you an example of a town,
You did.
yes.
Okay, let me take a look at that. I remember receiving something, so.
This is the one, John, where we got to park it in the yard in different places. It should be designated areas. I don't want to say it's the blight side of it, but it's just being respectful of the neighbor. We don't park in the side yard and create tracks and go up and down and create a driveway by doing it for the next 3 months.
Create a parking lot in front of the house.
Yeah, our parking lot in front of the house.
there was some concern that will go, that we're gonna impact people who've been doing something for years.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at that one. I don't,
Well, and since you bring that up, I mean, you want to bring it up with John here, where we, as far as what needs to be addressed, if it's something we need to consider.
Well, it could be like RVs or, that have been, like I know there's houses down here everywhere. We have RVs that are parked.
Boats, trailers.
Boats, trailers. Yeah, right here. Oh, yeah.
He's on
They're
gravel.
actually in the driveway.
That's what I mean, he's on gravel, it is
Yeah.
different than others.
That's the kind of thing we're talking
Yeah.
about. It's at appropriate.
Just keep them out of the yard, is what you're saying.
Yeah, or an appropriate designated area. I mean, if you look at I've got the same thing up behind mine. I put in a gravel deal, and that's where the trailer's parked. It's designated, it doesn't drive through the yard. It's not trails through my yard anymore. That's where it goes until I need it.
And how does it apply to, like, if Tom Roberts has a big party and cars parked in the yard?
That's that's a one-time deal. That's not a repeatable, you know what I mean? We got, I think
Something happens, yeah.
you got, without naming, you get some houses that's got 2 or 3 deals, 2 cars in the front yard, and 1 in the side yard, and they've been doing it for the last 6 months, and there's tracks in the neighborhood. So they've got nice manicured yards and keeping up the neighborhood, and it looks like we're in 2 different zones. And it's not we designated the driveway, and the driveway's not the front yard.
Before, we made exceptions for certain times, we did like open houses.
Exactly.
Holidays, and, there was expected that there
But
would
that's
be a lot of.
once over deal and go. Yeah, it's not
It's
every
not
day.
every day.
It's a repeat, it could be a repeated violation.
So you don't want them to park along the grass. They have to park in a designated, parking area.
Yeah, in the driveway, or if they're storing or doing, it's create an area designated for that with rock or appropriate. Be respectful of the neighbors.
Okay.
Anything else, Brandy?
Yep. We have 2 homes that we have identified that they are unsafe, and that they are a public nuisance, and that we need to deem unsafe, public nuisance, and go through the process of getting it to where we can raise the houses. And we need your legal expertise and advice on how we go about doing that.
Bud's gonna mark them unsafe, but as far as,
Is one of them, I came in at the end of that, one of them a property that the health department has already identified?
correct.
No?
No.
Okay, these are different ones, okay,
Yeah,
all right. Yeah, because I came in when you guys were talking about that one.
That's a different one.
yeah.
And these are buildings you determine them to be unsafe, right?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
Bud? Yeah.
the one with the health department bill was the one on, what is that, Lynn Street or whatever? No,
Elbert.
Albert, you're right. Wrong one, sorry. Yeah, he put the taps closed off on. the
One has been marked uninhabitable, right?
That's the one health department.
All right, yep.
Got one that's 8110 South Walnut Street is one of those. You should mark unsafe. Move towards raising.
Correct. The other one's on 4th Street, what was that, 15,000?
15001.
Yes, yeah.
Both of those are equal condition and you can go.
That's right. I was looking for the same, I couldn't see it.
And then lastly, I don't know, do we need to bring the 2 that we agreed to fine, or does this board not have to do anything with that? It was already decided.
We have the system in place, don't we? We already have the system in place, and the clerk's office can issue the fine notice and send them out.
So yeah, so I'll just notify the board that there are 2 properties, one a commercial property, that we tried to contact and just have received no response on. We decided to fine them, as well as a personal property, that same thing. We contacted them and no response. And I think that's it.
Police,
Yep, we got a few things. The chief wanted.
Sorry.
I moved dismiss bill.
Just this bill. That's been done several
Go ahead,
times.
sir, my apologies.
The chief wanted me to mention vest. Chief's got that problem worked out, and they should have their vest shortly. Tesla stipend, you said that that's been approved, just based off of, it was approved on the claim dockets, now they'll get their check.
So monthly, they'll get it, it'll be on the claim docket. You guys, the claim docket will get issued just like a claim docket check.
On the Tesla account, we need to have a card put on there that's probably not the town card. In the event that they take that to a conference or something, you may need to use a charger, off-site charger.
A card that is a town card.
No, like it's not just say like your town card or whatever it is. Unless you think otherwise. I just,
You want just a charge card for them to take if they go on a conference.
we'll attach it to the account. That way, if they need to charge off-site and it's a paid charge, then the way those work, it's all based off of the Tesla account. So they just pull up to a charger, plug in, and,
Oh,
So it would be attaching a town credit card to the Tesla account.
yes.
You guys, yes.
So
you
when
have to
they
approve that.
charge up, it automatically goes to the account.
And it would show up on a statement and then we just,
Yeah, it doesn't look like the fuel cards would be compatible, so it's just, getting ahead of it.
so it's just loading it. Yeah, there's just a matter of loading it. You guys would just need to say in a meeting, move
Is that a
that it's
motion?
okay, motion.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, let's do.
I got a motion and a second to add to the Tesla account for the car for the charging off-site. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed? Approved.
And it should be rarely used, right? Just, when it's needed, it's there. The last thing is cleaning up the PIN numbers on the fuel cards, so that there is just one per officer, and then for the reserves, they have a single PIN number. That they,
for all the reserves.
yes, that they utilize for their fuel card, or the fuel card. Right now, I guess, unless this may be sorted out, but the information has not leaked down to the appropriate people. I guess a lot of the reserves use, there's either a default number or,
Now, they're
Any
supposed to be
courtesy
using their
number?
badge number, is what they're supposed to be using. And then that way, if there's a number, a badge number is assigned to each person. So on the bill, it actually prints out. I know when Adam Curtis got gas, Corey Bryant got gas, or, any of Fitzpatrick, anybody who's
Yeah.
working, who it was, where they got gas, and when they got gas.
okay, so all that's updated, and so,
Well, if they tell me, when they get new officers, they assign a thing and they say, hey, this needs to be added to they have to communicate with me to tell me, can you add this officer, here's the badge number for this card.
all right, I'll ask them, to send an
Yeah.
email.
I need Hicks,
List of-
Just all the badge numbers, all the officers.
Hicks
together.
just needs to come down and sit with me, because we've done that before. We've
Okay.
cleaned it up, so that's just communication.
Perfect, all right, I will get that done, and that is it for police. It wasn't that bad.
When they're back. All right, ADA Title V update, do we have anything there? Oh, excuse me, Park, I'm sorry, apologizing. I don't know why I checked it off, but I
Yes, I
did.
have Park.
You talked
I didn't
too
bring it down
much,
yet.
I went right back.
We basically, yesterday, just got an update for the future events, the movies, the concerts. The 4th of July event's coming, the 28th of June. We're getting everything in place for that. She went ahead and requested funding to spend funding from the donation fund. I believe it was like $8,000 for all the events for the rest of the year, paying for the concerts, everything. And we just, so that's the plan. And there's plenty of money in the donation fund, so there's really.
ADA titles,
Yeah, just skip that.
nothing.
Who is
nothing.
that? It was Steve.
Okay, I would like to make one comment on this. There is every document that I am seeing now from the state and federal, if ADA and Title VI isn't updated and going, they are not accepting we have a plan anymore. There has to be actions. There has to be a plan, and there has to be measurable actions taken from year to year. You cannot continue to just say, I have a plan in place.
So here's the thing, we had a plan when we were at the other building. Fortunately, with the new building, there was really no updates that needed to be done. This is all ADA compliant. However, we have not had anyone come in and inspect and do that for us, and I'm not sure who does that. I can't remember who did it for us last time. Was it the same?
I know, who is it? I think it's the MPO, Kylene. I think they're doing it for the entire county, and you can opt in on theirs, the same consultant they have.
I don't
They'll
remember how we
give
did it
you a
last
price
time.
for it to do every building. They go over every sidewalk and monitor. I'm not, whatever the board, but I just know that you cannot qualify for grants, both
And
state
federal
and
funding,
federal.
yes,
Okra is bringing it into the state side of it. Federal is really bringing it in. So if we don't have a plan and a plan to submit with the grants that we go after, we will not be eligible for those grants. Period.
There should be a certification from the contractor way back when that certifies the building is ADA compliant. And you probably get that from VW if you don't have it. There should be one. They should have, in all the paperwork they had. I'm sure they did that. Are there any other
Be certified
buildings?
each year? That's what I'm
No,
just,
you
we have
don't
to have
have to
somebody
certify.
come in and that's,
to
I'm just
certify
saying
every-
that's not happened.
You have to certify it every 3 years. The ADA compliance is every 3 years.
So I would assume that there was ADA compliance on this building when it was built, but as far as, everything in Daleville, like compliance, that has not been.
You need a certification on the sidewalks. And do you have any other building where the public is invited or goes to on?
Playground, splash pad,
Okay, yep, there you go, you have those. And
and
like
both
the water
parks.
department, does the public go to the water
Public's
department?
not in the
Street
water
department?
Street department, public's not
You
in.
got the old town hall that you rent out.
Yeah, it's up, we haven't, but yes. Huh?
That building is up to ADA compliant.
Double-edged sword.
Oh, yeah,
We're
that
gonna
would,
get it up to ADA.
but I mean, it has to be certified again.
Right.
I just didn't remember who, I knew it had to be done, but I don't know who we call and who we do it with, so.
Well, you can send out an RFP to get proposals to do that.
What would I add?
You wanna check on it?
Well, and maybe you can put it out on listserv, who's using, who are they
To
using
get
as
ADA
consultants for ADA and where they've gotten good. And then I'll ask Kylene on the MPO in the county, if that's still available and what Daleville's cost would be to get ours done. Okay? That work?
I will do that, I've got 2 things.
Okay. New business. Skip around a little bit. Mountains Greenway presentation. Would you guys
Sure.
like to be your presentation?
Absolutely.
Sorry about that.
Good
Thanks, you
evening.
have it.
My name is David Van Gilder. I'm the Senior Policy and Legal Director for Hoosier Environmental Council. And this is Jenny Jenkins, who has been working on this project forever. She's our Special Projects Coordinator at Hoosier Environmental Council. We wanted to sort of revise or bring back the idea of the Mounds Greenway project, which has been kicked around among all the communities along the White River between Muncie and Anderson for over a decade now. And things sort of stalled out, especially with COVID and so forth. And so we've been told that there's some renewed interest in Anderson, Chesterfield, Daleville, Yorktown, and Muncie to do this connector project. So we just have a real short, I think it's 9 slides, maybe 8 slides, and then we'd answer some questions for you if that's okay. Appreciate the time. And I'm going to turn it over to Jenny, and she's going to give us a little bit, and then she'll hand it back to me.
Yeah, thank you for having us tonight. And again, we'll try not to take too much time, but it's kind of a refresher because I know a lot of you are familiar with the Mounds Greenway and maybe some of you haven't heard about it in a while or never heard about it. So the basic idea behind the Mounds Greenway is it's a proposed 17-mile linear park or greenway, which we like to think of it as a linear park, a little bit better than just straight trails. It would be along the west fork of the White River. Actually, if we go ahead and do the next slide, sorry, I should have gotten us there so you guys can take a look. There we go. Take a look at that map, and it's essentially connecting Anderson to Muncie with Chesterfield, Daleville, and Yorktown along the way. and with long-term plans or hopes to actually connect from Muncie to Indianapolis. And as you probably are familiar, Hamilton County is really doing a lot of that already. So they're kind of spreading out towards Anderson as it is. So
Are there actually 2 trails?
no, actually that one is showing, let me make sure I'm reading it right. It's showing the river as well as,
I think that's both sections of a proposed trail on both sides of the river. is what
Across
it is.
69, it looks like it kind of splits off one side, both sides of the river.
and that is potential. It depends, yeah, and I think, that is the problem with trails. And you don't know exactly where we're gonna be, obviously, until you really start working on the nuts and bolts with them. We hesitate also to put out proposed trails when people, when there's landowners who may see it and say, wait a minute, this is not what I want, and that's understandable. There's no eminent domain or anything like that in this project, so we kind of keep it open until, obviously, we get down to those kind of details. So, and just so you know, too, Hoosier Environmental Council is who we work for. This is, the Mounds Greenway is a project of the Hoosier Environmental Council, so that's a little bit why, in case that's confusing. As far as the origins of the Mounds Greenway, it came up basically as an alternative to the proposed Mounds Reservoir, which I'm sure many of you, all of you remember. This was kind of a demand that, came about as a possible sustainable alternative to it. So, as well as just rising community demand for trails, more recreational activities and things on the White River. So, quickly, the economic benefits, and I do have some more detail on this, and I even have some booklets and handouts if you're interested, but the annual benefits, there's an estimated $13 million in tourism, health, and environmental benefits for East Central Indiana. Property value increased, a one-time boost of $32.7 million in Delaware and Madison counties. And of course, job creation, this, trails we've seen all across the state. It stimulates local businesses, attracts new businesses and residents because people are looking for trails in their communities, especially younger people. So community health, the obvious, it promotes active health lifestyles through accessible trails and gets people really outside and doing more exercise, which is always good for the entire community. And of course, the environmental and cultural preservation. It would protect the floodplain, the forests, the wetlands, the wildlife habitats, and of course the White River, which is important. I think communities are starting to really see how lucky they are to have the White River in their backyards. I know Dale sees that as well. It would also, of course, protect Mountain State Park, keep it from being flooded as the other plan was. So benefits, and this is the part I was talking about. We do have a study that was commissioned by HEC and done by Alta Planning and Design, and I do have a hard copy of that. It was done, I want to say it was 2018. Is that right? Okay, yeah, so if anything, these numbers have only increased, but you guys can see that yourself. This is just some of the numbers as far as the increased benefits, and there's actually a whole host of them, of course. They did a very kind of scientific study. It's not something I'm personally familiar with, but they do explain all of that in the study itself. So if that's something that you'd like to understand where they came up with these numbers, that's available as well. So $13 million in total annual benefits to East Central Indiana. So it's a pretty significant benefit. Quickly then, the next slide, just as a quick refresher, where Hoosier Environmental Council has been. We started this idea along with other local organizations, White River, Friends of White River and White River Watchers, thank you. It just went in and out of my head, helped us in the beginning and came up with this great idea as a counter to the reservoir proposal. We've commissioned professional studies. We've gained support of lots of nonprofits as well as local businesses, as well as community support. We've really curated a pretty big email list of people who are interested in supporting the Greenway. We've done lots of events over the last decade. Ride for the Mounds, you're probably familiar with. It was our great bike ride that we did annually. And right now, the latest has been that we are working with the Madison County Parks Board, which you're probably familiar with as well. It's a newly formed board that is working to spend some dollars that they have received federally to basically connect the municipalities in Madison County. So That is something we're working with, and we really are excited about that because we think it's gonna help, again, kind of push this forward a little bit, so. I'll go, the next slide, and next I'm gonna let David take over
Sure.
here.
This is just the first paragraph of a memorandum of understanding between Town of Daleville and Chesterfield. And it's a real basic document. Sort of, you probably looked at it before, but it basically says that the two towns will work together to promote, to look for plans and promote a Mounds Greenway that connects the two towns. And curiously, the MOU is just goes until both town boards would end it in writing. So it's still, even though it was signed, I think, in 2018, it's still active. And one of the things that I think is really important for regional trails, and I've been involved in them personally in Fort Wayne where I live, is the unification and a signature by all the towns that might be involved, all the municipalities that might be involved, together, working together to make it work. It doesn't really help it if, Daleville is really interested in it, but Chesterfield isn't, or Yorktown isn't. So one of the things, the first task that we would do as we revitalize this plan is to make sure everybody's on board with at least the planning process. And the two towns, at least Daleville and Chesterfield, have already come together on this back in 2018. And so we would work with the other towns and connect everybody together with a sort of a master MOU. Next slide, maybe. A very good question that you might ask is how in the world can Hoosier Environmental Council help with this process? And then the follow-on question is, where does anybody get the money to make this work, right? We don't have money. We don't have, we're not going to fund it or anything like that, but we can certainly provide the guidance and connect people to funding sources. As I said, I've worked already with some regional trails planning up in the Fort Wayne, Hamilton County area, connected with the Indiana Trails, which is a statewide organization, the Greenways Commission. And there are, even in these tight budget times, and even with sort of a rollback of some funding that might have been available federally, there's still funds that could be available and leveraged for this kind of work, especially if the towns want to work together on it. We would also provide routing guidance, man-down outreach, and grant support. Some of the things we've already been doing, which is to hold community meetings, try to get people excited about it, because as you know, when your constituents are excited about something, it really makes it a lot easier to get things done. So that's the building community momentum. We also facilitate partnerships with funders, planners, and state agencies. It's really kind of an all hands on deck for these kinds of things. And then we would make sure that you all, together with your citizens, are sort of leading the planning. We would make sure that there's some help and guidance involved, but it would really be a ground up kind of project versus somebody saying, this is what we're going to do, and everybody just ought to accept it. That's not the right way to do these kinds of projects. I've mentioned a couple times the Pocahbash Trail, which will go from Pokagon State Park down to Wabash State Park through Fort Wayne. That's about a little more than 60 miles. A lot of it has been built over the course of time that I've been working in Fort Wayne, just as a private citizen. They've built over 125 miles of trails in Fort Wayne itself, reaching east and west and also north and south. So it is it's a definite thing that can happen. And so we want to be supportive of Daleville if you're willing to go forward with this project. I think that may be the last slide. There's one more. So happy to answer some questions this evening. We can leave you with the hard copy of the report, which is somewhat dated now, but we can always reconnect out and update some of the background information on that report. But we can answer questions if you'd like.
We got any questions, board?
Rob Sparks says Mounds Lake Reservoir is not dead. I'm for this.
No, I've heard that, yeah.
If we get this, I'm thinking the reservoir would be dead, because that would eliminate this if they do that.
It's
But-
dead anyway unless you guys let it happen, and you didn't before, so that was the point.
Okay,
It's
he's
dead
just
now
talking,
because
he's
of-
just talking.
Oh, yeah, he's just talking.
Okay.
Yeah, he's put in an application, you guys, I'm from Anderson, by the way, I'm sorry. He's put in an application, by the way, for Anderson's water to go to the LEAP project. Via reservoir. You know, the LEAP project, what was that? That was the,
It's in Lebanon.
yeah, Lebanon.
It's
You guys
the-
remember where they needed all the water?
But they're taking off the Wabash?
Yeah, but they're taking from the Wabash, but since there was problems with the Wabash, he ran up to Lebanon and said, you can have this from the Mounds Reservoir, and we're like, I thought that was supposed to be our reserve, huh? But he's just blowing his mouth off.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Anyway, so one of the things that HEC stands for is trying to build sustainable communities, look in the future and see what do people want? They want more connectivity, they want more parks. I took a look at the Daleville's Parks Master Plan, and there's a number of areas I could highlight that talk about connectivity, about more trails, about getting people outdoors, connecting your parks. By the way, of course, I went to the wrong town hall. And saw the splash park, which was number one on your list of things you wanted to do. Beautiful, it's great.
Great.
So obviously there's will in this community to make good things happen. So we'd like to tap into that and help you all get it done.
Just to say, I mean, we've always been, since I've been on the board, 15 years basically, we've always been for trails.
Mhm.
It's in the same spot it was 15 years ago.
Yep.
Even with the MOU from Chesterfield, it's in the same spot because we have no money. We need help to find money. And then we also need time because I don't even know, because across the river is not ours.
Right.
This side is Delville.
Mhm.
And so whether the residents even want it, so would they allow you to have space for a trail? I don't know. We just haven't done anything.
Sure. And these are not easy things. Make no mistake. I'm not saying this is, wave a Harry Potter magic wand and make this work. It's
Second time tonight.
I did that on purpose.
Put it back in the wall.
You gotta read the books, man. But anyway,
Yeah.
the idea is, these are, step-by-step process. And if you've got some basic nods, yes, then you can go and start doing the hard work, which is getting individual landowners, get individual residents to say, yeah, this is a good place for it to happen. And that's not an easy thing to do, but we're willing, HEC is willing to help facilitate that process.
And I will say too, that I think Daleville has been much more supportive of this whole idea way earlier than other communities in the area really have been, officially or not, but you guys seem to take the lead on things and, I think other communities may see that and say, oh, wow, that's a good idea. And honestly, I think that's we have not had, I think it's taken a while for some of the other communities to really see the value of parks and say, okay, maybe it is a good idea. And that's part of it too. Like you said, we need everybody on board for it to happen. So I think that may be a big reason why.
It would be really awesome if Muncie, Yorktown, us, all the way through Anderson, and I don't know how far you're going to Noblesville.
Yeah.
Anderson's trail right now is all the way through the city. That was done by a previous mayor. So it starts from Range Line Road and goes clear to Rabel Avenue is where it stops. And you guys, it's one of the best kept secrets in Anderson. It's the most beautiful trail you've ever seen. It's all along the river.
Yeah.
Every bit of it is along the river.
And that is the beauty of the Mounds Greenways, is it's connecting, it's not redoing
But really the
existing
nice
trails.
thing about it too, and the gentleman in Anderson who's the head of the parks board over there owns Buckskin Bikes. And he is 100% because so many bikers are killed on the road. You guys have so many busy streets here. You need a side path for people, for pedestrians and bicycles to travel. Now I've got a question for you real quick. Were you guys able to, or do you have any access to county money? Because I don't know about Delaware County, but Madison County has ARPA money that was designated for parks, but it's in the unincorporated areas. Do you know if you have that available?
There is
or not?
nothing available as far as the
Okay.
county money. The ARP money has all been allocated
Well, yeah.
and reallocated. What we had, the timeframe, it had to be put out by the 24th, by the end of last year. So that's been the redevelopment of specific projects is to go to in holding those redevelopment.
Yeah,
positions.
okay, I just wondered if
So
there was
it-
any availability of any of that.
There wasn't any pointed to trails that I am aware of. The Delaware County Commissioners have done a great job as far as building trails on their own, using TIF districts and some other EDA funds besides that in Delaware County and in Muncie. But there was nothing allocated from the ARP funds towards that.
Thank you.
I have a question, because of comments that were made before. Is the trail and the Mounds Lake proposal mutually exclusive of each other?
Yes, yes.
Why couldn't you do both?
Because with the Mounds Lake, we'd be flooding much of the area.
That's what I'm saying, in terms of construction of trails, why couldn't it be where it's not gonna be
That would, I mean,
Takes you
That's
way-
a big area
It takes
where
you
we
way,
were
it
gonna
takes you
be
way off the river. If you remember the reservoir, it goes to 843, which I think is right at the bottom of River Road, right across from Shoemaker Apartments.
Yeah.
So all of that that's down in the bottom line,
flooded?
that's floodplain. That
That's
would be
on the
flood.
other side of the river.
But that's not ours.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, that's not ours, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
they're
mean, there is a lot of deals.
And they're
that would be
eminent
underwater.
domain, they're doing eminent domain if you do the reservoir on all of those residents as well.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another issue, but I was just wondering.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I think to be honest, I'm not sure I've ever thought of them combined, but I think with the expertise that we've had in the past and lots of discussion over the entire state about the reservoir proposal, that it's just not legally feasible, permitting feasible. I mean, there's so many things we have to take into account, even if the funding were there, which of course it's what, 400 million?
440 million some years ago.
It was, yeah, that was the original cost, which, you know, if we're not able to come up with trail money, coming up with that kind of money is, I don't know where that's gonna come from, but they're just damming a river and flooding is just, it's just not done anymore. That's kind of last century ideas. You know, and so there's not many permitting agencies that are gonna allow that to begin with. And I think that's been proven in the last decade that nothing has actually come, there haven't been any permits approved.
The other thing about that in Madison County anyway, and was Chesterfield's big objection when it got to them, there were 3 bridges there that they had no intention of rebuilding. They were just gonna leave one. And they were talking about 32 would not be one of them. I thought, how do you close the Skate Road? That was one of the things that they had on there. They had no intention of redoing that bridge. He just would, you know, whatever, he would go to a town meeting, whatever anybody wanted to hear, that's what he'd tell them. I'm serious. I've been to a number of them. And it's all smoke and mirrors. I'm sorry, it just is.
So right now, does the trail end at Rabel coming this way? Rabel,
Um,
no,
they-
sorry, at,
Yeah,
Range Line,
Range Line is where it ends.
that's where it ends?
And so what they were trying to get finished, and this is what we're trying to go back to the county to see if the ARPA funds are there from. Now, that money is only being able to be used in the unincorporated areas. It cannot be used in Chesterfield. So it would go from Range Line Road to Mounds, because after that, Chesterfield, you know where that old airport road, that will be part of it. It will go back behind the airport, come out on Anderson Road, and from there, I don't know, because this is all changed. They redid the bridge on Plum Street now, I found out, so we've got to find out if that has to be changed. But to go straight down Plum Street, cross the road and go through, it would have been, I think Idlewood is the name of that street, and it just goes straight up and back to Walbridge Park.
Yeah.
And then through that way. That was kind of the plan. And the plan was to take it down Plum Street, because that is the street in Chesterfield that is commercial, and the whole street is dead. There is nothing on there but empty buildings. That trail goes through there, that place is just gonna boom. I mean, it really will.
Helen, if you don't know Helen, Helen's a realtor, sorry for,
Yeah.
she's a realtor, and obviously familiar, she's been a big supporter of the Mounds Greenway.
I'm a
Since
very
the
big
beginning.
supporter of it. I would love to see it happen in my lifetime, and I'm getting old. But the importance of that section right there, because to give an example, I know in Jeffersonville, Indiana, there are trails across the river on the Ohio River, and they are seeing a boom in production and productivity in their community because the people are coming off the trail to go into Jeffersonville to shop. We've got Mounds Park right there. They could come straight up through. I think they would come straight up and through Daleville because Robbie's got that wonderful canoe country down there.
And Robbie, of course, is a big
Yes,
supporter
he's
of
a
Mounts
big
Greenway.
supporter of it,
Yes,
yes, he
he's
is.
been wonderful, wonderful partner for us, so.
But I can see that all as just getting the money and the pieces together. But those two pieces could be done by the ARPA money from Madison County. I'm just hoping we could get those two done and then hopefully get Chesterfield on board.
And I think Chesterfield is kind of in the same, they are finally more supportive, they're concerned about funding as well.
Well, and one good thing I can say about Hoosier Environmental Council is that they have on-staff grant writers, so they can help locate, find, and write grants, if that's what you need. That's where their piece is gonna come in to be helpful, I think.
We definitely can use that.
Any other questions? What do you need from us this evening? Anything?
No ask, you don't have to vote on anything tonight, we're
I
just.
didn't know, I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
Wanted to touch
we just
base.
wanted to, thank you for your time and
Thank you.
make a little presentation and kind of put it back in people's minds.
And we'll follow up in a
And
little
can
while.
I say one
and-
more thing, you guys, what keeps me involved in this, because I know I got a big mouth, but that meeting where the Mounds Reservoir was turned down, and we were all outside cheering. And and I don't remember which one of the town hall members it was, but one of them, when they walked out the door, said, okay, the reservoir's dead. Now let's see that trail you're talking about.
All right. Moving on, state academic team, state championship signature,
That's signage.
signage, excuse me.
You contact Advanced Signs on that, Brad? Did you?
No, she ain't got back with me, I'll check with her tomorrow.
As far as, except for the,
Modifying.
To get a plan, a modifying how to do it.
on the roadside coming in. Okay. All right.
Just keep in mind timing of this, is it took us a year or two to get the baseball state signs out there, so we'll get this done, but it's just not,
Okay, Amy, SB1 impact on Delville update.
All right, everybody take one of these. I'm not gonna go through it all, because you guys can all read, but I did quite a bit of, I've done quite a bit of research on the impact of Senate Bill 1, and this is the chart, the very first chart is the best one, where I have it highlighted, Delville Civil Town. It's basically, if you look over to the estimated revenue change from the baseline, where that tells you in 2026, then 2027 and 2028, how much property tax revenue they are estimating will be cut from our property tax revenue. So
They're estimating.
25.5 in 26, 23, 170 in 27, and 30,950 in 28.
That's the amount of cut, we're not going from $500,000 to
No,
negative.
no. That's how much is
That's how
going
much
to
you're
be
gonna
cut,
Okay.
reduce our revenue. And
So
then now that's
5%.
not, but that's not approaching the public safety lit either. That becomes a whole new thing because we already get our lit through the county. The county sets it, but now it will have to be an annual ask for us to go to the county council to get approved for our lit rate. So that will become a
right now,
process each year.
how much money we get in for that?
We get 11,069 with the public safety and the old, what they call old code, old shares. That's gonna go away, so it's basically just gonna be the lit, and I have no idea how much it'll be. It was, there was talk of 1.2% is what towns with populations under 3,500 cannot establish their own lit. You have to be over 3,500 to establish your lit, so we can't do that, so we have to depend on the county. So it's basically, county council will decide our lit rate for us, Eaton.
That's big to us.
Because that's where we pay our part-time officers, our SRO officers when they work the road. That's basically what we pay them for.
What's
Public
what
safety lit,
lit stand for?
local income tax. And some of the bigger towns are gonna be allowed to have their own, they can establish their own lit, but we're not large enough to do that. But there's some.
Yorktown's already working on it.
Oh, yeah, because they're figuring us. But there's some other documentation in the back that, it talks it, there's some talking points. I got some information from some other people, specifically from someone who as a town, they have 500 people. They did the research on the under 3,500, so we don't need to go through it, but you can just go through and read that information, give you an update on.
So just to be clear, so that 25.5 in calendar year 26 that not being cut would be split between the general, most of it in general. But MVH,
However, we set the percentages.
And park.
You know, when
Yeah.
DLGF, when we go in August and set it, we can move the percentages around to make sure as far as where the cuts are coming.
yeah.
From them, once they, what I mean, when they find what the collection was, we can make changes in that meeting to help offset some of that difference.
So, for example, the bottom, there's a paragraph, and one of the things I think I attached. SB 1 is not just adjusting the certified shares list, but rather dismantling the framework that previously defined it and replacing it with a decentralized and more specific system of local income taxation. Therefore, certified shares are not changing so much as the system they belong to is being phased out.
Correct.
So,
So while we're losing 5% in Daleville itself, the Daleville tip is expected to grow 4, 7, and 9%.
That's because the addition of the property that hasn't been collected on yet
Right,
over
right,
those
it's
3 years.
because we
It
haven't-
takes you a year and a half before your first collection comes in after the door opens.
yeah, and the petition process for smaller towns, instead of like directly receiving it, like I did a direct amount each month. Towns under 3,500 population will need to petition the county council to adopt a local income tax rate up to 1.2% for their general purpose revenue. And I'm not really sure, our rate, right, I gotta see what our, because I know it's more than 1.2%.
Does it say additional or just raise it 1.2%?
No, it will be 1.2%. Up to 1.2% for their general purpose revenue. So it'll be up to the county council to, they can give us 0.5, they can give us 1, they can give us 1.2.
Okay.
But for towns, the Senate bill reads for towns, so it's hitting the small towns pretty hard. So just wanted you to be aware.
Thank you.
It's
No,
coming
that's
in the
good
next few
information. There's
years.
gonna be more come out that we all
Yeah.
need to pay attention to, because we are getting ready to go into budget, and we're gonna have to address this and make some
And
decisions.
I'm doing, listening close on a lot of ways people are trying to supplement, replace the revenue, so.
All right, moving on, salary ordinance 2024-08B, updated ordinance.
Is basically, I was asked to put the cell phone, or not that, what is it, the EV.
Maybe stipend.
The
We
stipend that you
didn't have
guys
to, but
approved
you
in
guys
last
said you wanted
meeting.
it, right.
I wasn't here, but I heard.
And that's all the
about it.
updates, that also reflects the new distributions.
Of the changes we made from where it was coming
Yeah,
from,
everything's
because of
in
the
there.
water.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's all the, yeah, where you basically didn't change salaries, you just changed the distributions.
I guess I'm trying to find out where that was, no.
Second, turn back with the page, it's in the
It's in the
paragraph.
paragraph, okay.
It's right there, it's right under the cell phone stipend.
EV, $100 a month.
That's no tax, right?
It's handled just like the cell phone, yeah. It's
Vehicle
separate.
at their residence in the
I
amount
just
of $100.
basically took the cell phone
$100 a
stipend
month.
paragraph and reworded it to.
Okay, this was, yeah, you guys in the last, all right. Seeing that, I would entertain, we've got to introduce and adopt.
No, 'cause it's salary ordinance, you don't have to.
Okay,
Just one vote, do all.
all right, I take a motion on ordinance number 2024-06B. 2020,
It was 2024-06 because it was passed in December. That's an amended to the December ordinance
Oh,
for the
okay.
25
That makes
Your
sense.
salary.
Yeah, okay.
So you look at the top, it says how long the salary goes to, December.
December 28, 2024, and ending December 26, 2025.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the adoption of ordinance 2024-06B.
I have a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Aye. I wasn't here. You guys done that? Did you do that last meeting?
No, the
You approved- you
redistribution was before.
The
Cell
$100
phone, the cell phone thing was,
last meeting.
but just make sure everybody signs it, please. That's supposed to.
That's what I mean, I just wasn't here last meeting, when you guys done it. Okay, seeing that, any other business to be discussed? Board,
I want everybody to pay attention to the appropriation report. Figure out how many months are left in the year. Look at that last column again, and you'll see that the general fund is underwater right now. So, not cash wise, but budget wise. So we're gonna be more careful about what we spend.
We are overspending what was budgeted for those lines that
So
we should be.
the way I calculate, we have about 59% of the year left. And we're at
56%.
55% bill left.
Okay.
Ends
Now,
up
50%
being a lot of
is already paid.
shifting at the end of the year.
Timing,
4%.
timing of paying the 4% out too.
Okay.
One way or the other.
just,
I have couple quick questions. Solar check, where's the status on the
I
solar?
sent that out. I sent
yeah,
everybody.
I got an email on it, he's,
They're having
Oh,
trouble
I saw that, yeah. That's
communicating
what I was
with the
thinking.
federal government and the IRS. And so they had me sign a document that gives them authority to sign, because I was the one that dealt with that. And so I signed that, and so now they can, that I hope, can get it through.
Okay, I wondered what that was about. Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
you had another question, Steve?
Yes, the sewer smell in the building, was that ever resolved? I didn't hear anything.
There was an email that went out this evening. They think that they have done some maintenance on the rooftop units. They unclogged the drain, cleaned off stuff, and we are proceeding optimistically, according to them. We'll see if it makes any.
I don't think it'll make a difference on the sewer smell. The dirty sock smell that Hicks has in his office, as he puts it, that's a true thing. We found out it is a real thing that happens with air conditioning units if they're not maintained and the fans aren't good. So that very well could solve that problem. But the sewage smell, I don't think, I mean, we had a plumber out here, 2 or 3 years ago that basically determined that the drain is not
Sloped right.
it's not sloped right. They say they did it to specs. Well, it wasn't our specs. Their specs were wrong. It doesn't have enough of a slope. I mean, he literally put a camera down there, took pictures of it, so you could see the stuff sitting in
So
the
that
pipe.
sewer is.
So then it goes back, so then the smell comes right back and the room is right here. We have a brad stuck in a pipe hole to keep the smell
Have
from
we-
going through the
have
building
we-
when it rains.
I'm not saying we would, but have we obtained a quote to figure out what the cost would be to fix this problem?
At one time we did. We'd have to get John, we had this, from, I don't know what his name is, John something. He's the one that came out, ran the scope, did it, he really spent some time.
Yeah, somebody from Good Guys.
From Good Guys, it was like, yeah, he was the plumber from Good Guys, and we could have him back out and have him, give us another quote, but, it's tearing up the pavement. It's,
Do we want to fix the problem or we want to live with the
yeah,
problem?
I know, that's the thing.
That's the two choices we have. I don't
Because
see.
what
any-
It'll be more than tearing up the pavement. You'll have to come in here and tear the building up. Where,
Well,
cause it,
the
cause
thing
that's where it's
is,
at. It's
I
under here.
think what happens is when it rains,
You
then
want
it
a
gets
slab?
stirred up and then the smell comes back in. And so it is more prominent when it rains. And that's why, and it goes right up.
I mean,
I have people come into my office saying, what is wrong in your hallway?
I would say that we get a couple of different opinions on how to repair and fix the problem, and see what the estimate is, and then have a discussion from there. Maybe at one, and you say, I'm not saying you're wrong, but maybe somebody else can figure out a different way to do it from outside the building going out. I don't know. I'm not a plumber,
I know
but
that
I'd like to have more than one opinion and one cost of how to repair it.
we had the plumber and then when we had VW do it, their comment was, it was built to specs. They were not willing to do anything, so.
I understand. So that's a separate issue.
Yeah.
Right now, I think what we should concentrate on is trying to eliminate the odor, figure out
So
what
who
we gotta
wants
do to
to
do it. And then whether we can or not, that's a whole nother
find some
discussion
plumbers?
of what we need.
Am I,
Well, you gotta determine if the specs were wrong because BW wrote the specs too.
Exactly.
so we gotta have somebody look at it. Oh, yeah.
So we have someone going to maintain the heat, the air conditioning system, heating system
We need
from
to,
now on.
somebody needs to. somebody needs to be in charge of taking care of the things that need to be done.
Building maintenance.
Yes, yeah. And it just kind of goes out, and sometimes I'll pick it up, sometimes you'll pick it up, sometimes you'll pick it up. We need to get somebody that can handle taking care of that.
Like, how often is that supposed to be done?
It's quarterly maintenance on the HVAC, right?
Director of sticky socks.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so we had, I think it was Good Guys came out. Can we just have them say, hey, put us on a quarterly service schedule to service the air conditioning?
Yeah, but what, they have to do the filters quarterly and then clean the coils yearly.
It's just having to do that.
Why don't we just get a contract with them? Because they've come out plenty of times and did not charge us to
But
help.
that's the one thing, and the other side is staying on top of, making sure that they're making the repairs to the building that they're supposed to be doing, and then obviously chasing down these, sewer quotes and collecting that information too.
Who do we contact for the quotes for that? I mean, I know
Plumbing.
we got the plumber.
Yeah.
I mean, we got the one guy, we know we can get a quote from him.
And
Who else we got?
It sounds like sewer gas.
It
Can you
is.
get somebody to just alleviate the sewer gas? It's
Yeah.
the question.
Yeah.
There's a way to alleviate it, you could maybe take it away from the
Yeah,
building. anyway.
that's what, yeah.
I would say get a commercial plumber, I mean, it's a commercial building, and look between the specs, the design, they can pull the drawings, look at it, and maybe even do us an explanation of where they think
I know.
you were told it was done wrong. What do you mean it was done wrong? What do you see that we don't see that we don't know? It can be argued at that point.
Do we know where the specs are for that? Because I have not a clue.
So show them the blueprints.
Where's the blueprints?
You ought to have blueprints.
There
I
was
don't have them in my
a
office.
stack of them somewhere. I don't,
I'm sure we can. still
Unless
get it
they're in the
from-
rolls, I've got blueprints of, is that what's rolled up in that storage closet you guys put in there?
Just
Okay.
keep in mind, just because it's on the blueprint doesn't mean it was
Right.
right that way.
Exactly, and that's why I said, let's get the plumbers and have them look at it, and then they're gonna look back at drawings and see, and say, hey, this is out of spec, and here's why it's out of spec. They'll be able to tell you that. If they can't, then they can't say, don't say it's out of spec. What's the issue? Where's the problem?
Well, then the other question is, where the specs done properly, since it was done by the same company that builders.
Yeah. Now, that's one of the couple quotes we go through.
Yeah, but that's where.
Okay, any board members got anything else? Hang on, I ain't done yet, please. I got one more thing, gateway signs. I would like to, if the board is, I'd like to get a couple quotes. We've got dead bushes, there's not been anything done. I think we need to take a look at our gateway signs. I know a couple bushes need to be replaced, they're gone. I mean, dead, died, whatever you want to say, Mother Nature got them. And the flowers are all gone in a couple of them. I know this one down here is totally, that's a different subject. I'm talking the other three that visually going in. So as a board object, I'd like to get a couple quotes, maybe from 2 landscapers to do that. With plants that does it, or Brad and the rest of them, take a whole lot of water and time away from everything. And you've done something that can go full sun
The
in the areas. that are-
perennials, all
Yeah.
full sun.
And don't let my wife anywhere near because we'll plant fake ones in it and they'll stay green the whole year. Right?
They might fade over time.
Might just have to take some up with the new ones in, but I'd like to get that and address and we get it done up since we're getting this one down here done. I mean, 4th of July is coming and it'd be nice to have the gateway signs cleaned up.
Are you going to, or you want me to?
I'll reach out and get a couple quotes. And
I mean, we have like,
We have 2 that we usually use, right?
well, Jackson Sigler, what is this? He's the one that does all our park stuff.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, what is it? Daily Rate Landscaping. He's already doing stuff.
if you feel like you can see them that you feel comfortable with, you guys been working with.
J.
let's-
Crew and.
J. Crew.
J. Crew,
Let's
those
get
are
a
the 2 that
Get
I.
a couple quotes.
That's
The
all.
only deal is to look at them to line it up, but with plants that we don't have to worry about watering consistently, let's get them started and then we don't have to worry about it. There are perennials that'll go and in full sun. Let's find something that we're not working
if you
ourselves
want
to
it done before the Independence Day celebration, we just need to approve it.
Well, maybe it won't be done before then, but we would. I mean, it just needs to be addressed.
Should we have them,
Or do it over the email. It's not too
I mean,
long.
if we're getting them for that, should we have them look at doing the drawing of landscaping for the stormwater building area too? I know we
A
talked about.
separate deal.
Well, just get quotes, I mean, why they're why they're there.
Because we're getting ready to do the concrete down there and get that done, and then, yeah, look at the.
Oh, yeah. When's that scheduled?
know-
July,
Do
isn't it?
they know what they want?
Yeah, Mike,
I mean, somebody could meet with them
Yeah,
and kind of give them an idea.
because I
Yeah.
want to know what they want down there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure.
Do you know what kind of landscaping they want?
701 in Wall, all rock,
Well, I know
sorry,
that.
spray.
Right there.
I'd be happy.
Okay,
Brandy, I was
thank
gonna say,
you.
Brandy, you're right there. Do you?
I'd be happy to meet with them. Like,
Okay,
it's right next to
I
them.
will do.
There you
Yeah.
go.
She's
Okay.
investment in that.
We got that. All right. Any other news from the board? Any other issues? Audience?
I got nothing.
There you go. All right, I would entertain a motion.
Motion,
Did you?
yeah.
I got a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
It's been
Amy,
great.
these are the passengers you need signed.
Yes, sign it, please. Good, I was gonna ask for one of those.
And this is a slide.
Okay.
All right, everybody make sure documents
Thank you.
signed,
Thank
make
you.
sure we get all the signatures.
I got it.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
But
They're gonna have to get stuff. I'm gonna call it now. It's always, there is not, I think right now, with this government, with this new administration doing, that's not what the priority list is. I guarantee you, it's true. With this